Good evening. I am going to talk about working your ticket inside. I spoke to somebody earlier about it, and it occurred to me that it's probably worth saying something about. There are so many ways in which you can gain yourself a little advantage without breaking the rules inside. And it's generally called working your ticket. Some of it, maybe it's breaking the rules. Some of it may be beyond breaking the rules, but mostly it's just getting a little bit of help, a little advantage for yourself without bothering anybody else. And there's a lot of it that goes on. My personal biggest way of working my ticket came after I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis back in 2007, I think it was. I was in Swaleside then. It was a rough time. I thought I had bowel cancer because I didn't know what was going on. I was passing a lot of blood, not digesting my food. And this went on for about 6 months. I was a gym orderly then, and I swear they must have thought I'd become a heroin addict. I lost about 2 stone in those 6 months, and I looked like, I don't know, a ghost or a corpse, really. I finally got out to hospital, and I was finally diagnosed and medicated, and things started to calm down. But the point of the story is that I realised, not straight away, but quite quickly, that on the wing you can work your ticket with something like that. So I eventually got it put on my medical record that I have to be in a single cell, or had to be rather. I don't have to be. I'm already in one here, but a bit better. Anyway, so yeah, once that was on my medical record, then anywhere they moved me to, they had to put me in a single cell. And I also managed to work it that I needed to have a cell with a shower as well as a toilet. To be fair, when I do have a bad bout of colitis, I do need to be near a toilet. I don't want to go into too much gory detail, but yeah, it needs to be practically next to me. And coincidentally, most prison toilets are next to you when you're in your bed. So I had that, managed to get that put on my medical record, and yeah, that was me working my ticket. That was, like I say, the most important one, but lots of other little things, you know. You could I think the last time I really worked my ticket was when I was security moved, E-list escorted to Pentonville from Coldingley back at the end of 2018. I was moved on to G Wing in Pentonville, which is the largest prison wing in Europe, and it was fucking chaos there. And just a relatively simple thing like getting your washing done once a week was just a nightmare. So I decided to play the game. I'd been swagged out of Coldingley. They'd taken most of my clothes, most of my property. Coldingley, they just kept it all. I was moved. I was completely innocent of what they said was going on, but hey ho, it's the past now. Anyway, I didn't have many clothes in Pentonville, so I started talking to a young female officer, just in a polite, decent way, and eventually, after a couple of weeks, I went to her and said, "Look, can you help me out? I've put a bag of washing into the laundry to be done, and someone's stolen everything. It's all gone." And I still had the stuff, but I asked her if she could remove the stuff from the list on my property card, which meant that there was space for me to fill up, and that's what I did. So yeah, I worked my ticket on that one. It I like I say, I arrived in Pentonville with fuck all, plenty of it, and I needed to work my ticket, so I did. There are other ways, sometimes relatively simple things, but when I worked in Highdown as a biohazard cleaner, I ended up being the number one in the workshop. I don't really buy into all that stuff, but I was the number one. And so I had the boss's ear. Her name was Jackie. She was a civilian worker, a high grade though, but she was my boss, and she was a good boss. And just little things like maybe I needed to go to reception. There were some clothes there or other bits and bobs. And if you did it through the wing, it's so hit and miss. It could take weeks to get down there unless you start kicking off. And if you start kicking off, then that can go one way or another, and you'll never see your fucking property if it goes the wrong way. So Jackie was good like that, and I've had lots of other bosses who have been the same. It's nothing to them, but it's a lot to us. So you work your ticket. I was a gym orderly in 6 prisons over the 17 years. Always the gym officers were brilliant with stuff like that. They would take you anywhere you needed to go to get whatever done. And it's a two-way street, like everything in life. I worked hard. I was good at what I did. I was always the number one in the gyms that I worked in. I am a qualified personal trainer, which kind of helps, but I had all my cleaning qualifications, biohazard even. And in fact, when I was a gym orderly in Onley, 3-4 years ago, I had to use my biohazard training. Someone trained a bit too enthusiastically one night and threw up everywhere. So it was left to Muggins to clean it all up. But I've never minded doing all that stuff. And I did very well with that in Highdown. Back in 2014, I was there for 3 years, and I was a biohazard cleaner for virtually all of it. Again, I worked my ticket to get that job. I met a young fella who was in prison for a really sad and very tragically unfortunate event. And he'd never been away before. He was about 23, 24. We were both Chelsea supporters, so we got on just on that, and we hit it off. And after a little while, he said he might be able to get me a job in the Bix workshop, and if I got that, then I could become a biohazard cleaner. And biohazard cleaners earn good money inside, and I had fuck all at the time. I don't ask people to send me stuff, whether it's out here or in prison. I never asked anyone for money or anything. So I got that job, and thanks to Danny, and I did okay with that. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I didn't care at all. I kind of liked it. It helps that I lost my senses of taste and smell in my accident in 2014. I've never regained them, so I'm like a biohazard king, really. Nothing made me even slightly queasy or any other negative. So I worked my ticket with a friend in the prison to get that job, and it worked out really, really well for me. So I appreciate that, Dan. If you ever watch any of this, that's about it, guys. I could talk some more about working your ticket, and I probably will. But tonight I am battered. I've had a long day at work after the bank holiday weekend, so it won't be long before I'm thinking about getting my nut down. I've got to be up at 5:15 tomorrow. Oh, and just a little cheeky bit of info. I may be going for a photo shoot tomorrow. We'll see. Have a good evening, everyone. Take care.